Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. Kenny Overton is here with us on the DictionBuddy podcast, the DictionBuddy One-on-One. We're going to have a great conversation today, and I'm excited to have him on our show. A couple of quick housekeeping items. Uh, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts to share, feel free to throw that in the comment section. Um, if you want to find us on socials, you can find us on Instagram and on Facebook. And as we go through the show, I'll be showing a few things from Kenny's website, from his socials, his Instagram, his Facebook. And I mean, there's really a lot to go through today, and I'm really excited about this conversation. So as people come in, we'll kind of kick this thing off. So I have a sort of agenda in mind, but first things first, happy Pride weekend to everybody. It's a big one. The first one out of quarantine, so it's definitely memorable for all of us. So we want to just wish you all well. Next, as I said, already went through the housekeeping items, looking through my agenda here. All right, so for those of you who don't know who we are, we're DictionBuddy. We are the only app that helps singers learn how to sing in foreign languages, up to 9 of them. We give you demonstrative audio tracks for Russian, Czech, Polish, Spanish, English, Latin, etc. And we make it very easy for you. You get the translations, transliterations, and everything included. So just want to make sure you're aware of what we're offering, and check us out at DictionBuddy.com. That's how you learn how to subscribe and take advantage of what we built. Now, without further ado, I am proud to introduce you to opera star Kenny Overton. Kenny, thank
Hey,
you so much
everybody.
for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Of course, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for making the time. I know you're a busy, busy man. A
Yeah,
lot
man.
coming
It's
up
all
for you.
good, though.
Yes, yes, indeed. So, where are you based right now?
I live in North Jersey, in Essex County, just outside of Newark,
Okay,
about
very good.
25 minutes outside of the city. I moved over here about 6, 7 years ago from Harlem.
Okay, nice. And so far, so good. No
So
regrets. You
I love it.
don't.
My wallet really loves it.
Oh, yeah. And you have more space, probably, right, for the same
More
amount of money.
space, and I can sing, and my neighbors aren't either. They're either not home or they don't
Hmm.
care. And I'm 15 minutes from Newark International Airport, which is really convenient to
Oh,
get in
wow.
and out. Yeah.
15 minutes. Okay, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So for all those international flights, it's just, quick.
In and out.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Very good. Well, once again, thank you for making the time. The way I usually talk to artists in your position is to ask what your origin story was, because we all have a starting point, right? We all began
Yeah.
somewhere, and it's taken us all the way to where we are today. So can you give us your origin story?
Yeah. I always say that opera found me because I
Hmm.
didn't like it at all.
Really?
No, it just wasn't a part of what I listened to as a young person. We didn't
Uh-huh.
listen to it at home. Nobody in my family is a musician or a professional musician or anything like that. And so I just sang at church, and I just sang to whatever was popular on the radio. I wanted to
Uh-huh.
be I wanted to be able to sing like Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson and Prince, and those were my male idols growing up as a
Sure,
kid.
sure.
Um, but then I saw the television show Fame, and it
Hmm.
rocked my world. And
Fame. I've never heard of it.
yeah, it takes place sort of at LaGuardia, the LaGuardia School in New York, and I
Hmm.
just saw these kids singing and dancing all day and making art, and I'm like, oh my God, is there a school like that in Philadelphia, which is where I grew
Hmm.
up?
Yeah.
Um, and my guidance counselor said, well, yes, there is, but I thought you were going to go to Central High School, which was a high school for boys who were really smart, because I wanted to be a
Yeah.
lawyer. And I said,
Ah.
oh, but no, I have to go to this school now. And so I went without telling my parents to do the audition.
You
And
rebel.
you rebel, and being a 13-year-old boy, you don't think things through all the way. And so I didn't realize that, any sort of correspondence from the school would come in the mail to my
Ooh,
house. And so that's what
slight
happened.
oversight.
Yeah. And so I had a lot of explaining to do, but I have this
I can
unique
imagine,
ability
yeah.
to be able to cry almost instantly. And so please let
Wow.
me go, please let me go. And so my
Mm-hmm.
parents said, listen, you've got one semester to go to this performing arts high school. And if you mess up or come home with blue hair or piercings, we're yanking you out of there and you're going to go to Central High School. So I went to that
Nice,
school with a
nice.
vengeance. And that's where I
Mm-hmm.
was introduced to classical music.
Awesome. That's really cool that you, at a very young age, you actually went down a very specific path, and that takes a
Yes.
lot of courage, honestly. I had a sort of similar like departure from what my parents expected, at least my mom. In college, like I told her I wanted to be a music major, and she was like, "What?" And she actually said to me, "But you're not even that good."
Oh no.
That hurt me in my heart, but but it's all good. She's actually my biggest fan now, so I think it's just it's very non-traditional, right?
Same
Taking
here.
this sort
Yep.
of angle.
Now
So
I can't get my parents off my back. They're always asking
right,
questions about what I'm doing, where I'm going.
yeah. Where's
But
the next show?
it took a while to get there, because
Yeah.
getting into the high school was one thing, but then
Mm-hmm.
in the 10th grade, I saw Jesse Norman in recital, and it was the first
Mm,
time I'd ever
okay.
seen someone that looked like me doing
Yeah.
opera
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
doing classical music at like this
At that
the
level, right?
most gigantic level imaginable. And that
Mm-hmm.
really was the turning point. And so my music teacher, who was not African American,
Mm-hmm.
said, I think you have the talent to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to go tell my parents that I wanted to go to college for music. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
this is
Like
a bit much.
you're pushing it now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
pushing it. But I got into every conservatory that I auditioned for, and ended up
Congratulations.
going
Wow.
to the North Carolina School of the Arts, and they paid for it,
Mm-hmm.
so that made it even
Full
easier.
ride. Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's how it started.
Beautiful. And so North Carolina University for your undergrad. What about
And
grad
then
school? Any plan
to
for
the
that?
Hart School of Music at the University of Hartford.
Oh, good. Okay. That's
Mhm.
is that Connecticut?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you became a northeastern person after
Yeah,
college,
stayed
and
in
you've
the
just been here
Northeast
since.
ever since.
Nice. Okay. Cool. 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 So so you went to North Carolina for undergrad. You came to Hartford for graduate school. Anything
Mhm.
further than that in terms of a further structured education, or did you went right into the industry from there?
No, I hate school. I hated the
I don't blame
structure
you.
of it. I hated the
Yeah.
structure of it.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get out as fast as possible. But,
Mm-hmm.
after I finished, things got really weird because I was still very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, I was accepted into the Chautauqua Opera Young Artist Studio when I was like 20, I
Mm-hmm.
think. But then when I finished school, like that same energy didn't continue. And so I worked in
Mm-hmm.
retail for 3 years as a visual
Ooh.
merchandiser, dressing
Hmm.
mannequins for Old Navy and
Wow.
for the
And
Gap.
that's where the
And
style comes from. You had that experience, huh?
yeah, so
Okay. Okay.
I did
Connecting the
that,
dots
and
here.
I kept a church job, and I sang in the opera chorus at the Connecticut Opera, and I did that for 3 years, working 40
Mm-hmm.
plus hours a week. And then
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut Opera started a young artist program, and they said, we want you to join the young artist program. But at the time, they
Mm-hmm.
were only paying like $250 a week. And
Whoa.
at the Gap and Old Navy, I
Man.
was making a lot of good money with
Yeah.
insurance and benefits and stock options
Mm-hmm.
and all of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I said, you know what, Lord, I love fashion, but I know you gave me this gift to sing. And so I took
Mm. Wow.
the leap of faith and I left my full
Mm-hmm.
time job
Wow.
and joined the Young Artist Program. And ever
Mm-hmm.
since then, I've never had to do anything else in my life except sing.
That's amazing.
And so that's been
That's
maybe
really
20, 21, 22 years now. Crazy.
yeah. That's
Hey,
really yeah.
Patrick, how are you, buddy? I
Yeah,
miss
we have
you.
yeah, we have a few people in the comments. We have Paul as well saying hello, and she agrees with you about school. It depending on the program, right, and the fit for
Listen,
you and your temperament, your personality, it can feel quite oppressive, and it can kind of dampen your spirit or
yeah.
dampen your enthusiasm for the art form. So I thought honestly feel like it needs a little bit of reform, to be honest. But
It does.
go
It
ahead.
needs a
Yeah.
lot of reform. It needs a lot of reform. I was talking with my one of my dearest friends in the world, Karen
Hmm.
Slack, and we were talking about the
Ah.
educational system and how
Hmm.
the conservatories and universities sort of sell us this bill of goods that we will teach you to sing pretty, and then you go out and you have a great career, and that's the end of it. And it's like,
No,
that's a
no,
no.
no. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
That's a
It's
no.
not quite so simple. Yeah.
No.
You have to be a business person as well
Oh
as
my
a
God.
singer. It is, and that's something that was literally never mentioned in at the education programs from me or
Never.
most of my friends. And with the rise of other, sort of formats of getting your uh, your art out there, there's so much more competition. There's a lot of noise as well. Like being
Yes.
able to stand out when there are hundreds and thousands of others, utilizing the same thing, some of them paying for additional sort of boosts from the platforms. It's really, really hard. And then there's the
Yeah.
institutional side, which kind of has this old tradition to it, its own method, and you have to kind of play along. It's a very narrow, like tricky path you have to navigate, right?
It's
So,
very tricky. I always tell um, young singers that it should really be called the business of show instead of show
mm.
business. And the word business is in capital bold print. Okay.
Italics, right?
Italics,
Yeah,
underlined in
yeah.
red, like circle, like
Amen.
the whole thing. Like you've got to
Hmm.
learn the business aspect of this if you want to survive.
Amen.
It's
Amen.
it's one thing to get a big contract and you see a very impressive monetary number at the bottom, but you've
Hmm.
got to know what that number really means and
Hmm.
understand that that's not the number you're going to take home.
Right.
And our schools don't teach
Taxes,
us that.
agents.
They
Yes,
don't teach us
exactly.
that when
Hmm.
we're in there. So we got to do a little bit better.
Agreed, 100%. Looks like you have a fan or friend from Slovenia saying hello.
Slovenia, oh my goodness.
You have fans all over the world showing up.
Wow, 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 wow. Hey, Slovenia.
So, very good. Thank you, Sinanovic Ennis. Very cool. And we have a question already, actually, from Vita.
Hmm.
Um, if you had to start over, would you do everything the same way?
Wow. First of all, I would not want to start over. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to start over. Um, would I do anything different? I don't really think I would have learned about money earlier, learned how
Hmm.
to use it, to invest it, to spend it, to make it stretch. Because when I,
Hmm.
I, I feel like I've had two or three different careers. Like I started really, really young. And when you're
Hmm.
young and people give you a whole lot of money, it's like, I don't know what to do with this. I wasn't taught how to handle all this. And so I blew
Hmm.
through a lot of money early on as a young person. And so I think I
Hmm.
would go back and change that for
Okay.
sure.
Hmm. Hmm. Makes sense.
But in regards to my education, I don't think I would really want to change um, anything really. No,
Cool. Cool. Thank you. Good answer. No regrets, right?
no
Or
regrets.
maybe a few, but so one of the things I've noticed when people that do very well in their careers, whether it's in corporate world or in the music world, etc., is the dynamic of the mentor, the person
Mm.
who guides you and shapes you. Tell us about people who are key in your development, and just feel free to go as long as you want. It's a common thread I see across everyone.
Yeah, I would go probably as far back as high school.
Hmm.
Um, my music teacher, choral director, the late David King Jr. He
Okay.
was the one who sort of recognized my gift before I knew that's what it was. Um, and he was the one who encouraged me to pursue this. He was the one who
Hmm.
taught me my first art song, my first spiritual, my first aria. And
Mm, that's cool.
yes, Patrick, sip and sing,
Sip and
baby, sip
sing.
and sing. So he was the one uh, who taught me that, and so he'll
Hmm.
always be very special to me.
Cool.
My
Hmm.
voice teacher in undergrad, William Beck, who was a
Okay.
huge star at New York City Opera back in the
Mm-hmm.
50s and 60s. He taught me so much about just being a pro. And he
Okay.
also gave me my first score of Porgy and Bess. He said, "You'll need this way more than I'll need
Mm.
it." And it's a hardbound score. And I
Oh
still
wow.
use it today after,
Beautiful. That's a
25.
collector's item, man. You should
Yeah,
definitely hold on to
amazing,
that to
amazing.
pass that on to some lucky
Yeah.
singer in the future. Yeah.
And then at the Hart School of Music, there were two people who stood out for me. My voice teacher, who has passed on, his name was Frederick Moses. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he just taught me so much about song literature and text and interpretation, and singing on the interest and not the capital,
Mm.
like Leontine Price
Yeah.
talks about.
Yeah.
And then my opera teacher at University of Hartford, her name was Adelaide Bishop. She again was a star at the New York City Opera, and she taught me about stagecraft and how to dissect a character and how to role prepare and role study, and not just jump in and start singing the aria when you get the role, but really doing the work and finding out who
Mm-hmm.
these characters
Mm-hmm.
are and where they come from, and what clothes they wore and what the political climate of the country was then. She taught me
Mm-hmm.
that. And then I would say Willie Anthony Waters, Maestro Waters,
Mm-hmm.
took a very big interest in me. As a 19-year-old, I was accepted to the Chautauqua Opera Studio, where he was music director, and I turned
Mm-hmm.
20 while I was there. And he also gave me many, 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 many jobs at Connecticut
Cool.
Opera and other
Mm-hmm.
places, and always coached me for free for hours on end.
Mm.
And he
Nice.
would give me old pirated cassette tapes of great singers singing, like,
Uh-huh.
from the 50s and 60s, like you can hear them
Nice.
breathing and
Mm-hmm.
getting through these roles, like not like the
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of like remastered in studio stuff
Yeah,
we've
they
become accustomed
humanizing
to.
them, right?
So yeah, so he
Yeah, yeah.
developed my taste, my
Mm-hmm.
palate, so that's why
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably such a snob now when it comes to great singing. But
Hey, listen, I
so
mean, good
yeah,
taste is good taste, and
good
it
taste
has
is
to be
good taste.
cultivated, right? You don't
Absolutely,
become a sommelier overnight. It takes time, right? And I feel like
absolutely.
opera is one of those art forms where there's so much depth and so much breadth. I mean, if you just look at the different languages, different styles, different periods, and then, I mean, there's a lot to digest. So it
Oh,
really is a lifetime journey to be able to have an opinion, at least an
yep.
informed opinion on what
And
opera
the
should
work
be and
never
is.
stops. The work
Yes.
never
Yeah.
stops. I People ask
Mm-hmm.
me sometimes, well, do you still have a voice teacher? The answer is yes. His name
Of
is
course.
Gregory Lamar. He's in here in New York, and he's amazing.
Awesome. Cool.
And he actually was the first African American voice teacher that I've ever had in my life.
Oh, cool.
And that was a huge turning point for me, a huge moment, and
Hmm.
so I would add him to my list as well.
Wow. So that's at least five, I think maybe six that you've listed in just a short period of time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more that
Oh yeah, there's
and
more.
play different roles and different
Yeah,
chapters of your life, so to speak. Right?
totally. And I keep all the chapters very close to my heart. Anton
Awesome.
Coppola, I have to mention the late great maestro
Oh
Anton
yes,
Coppola.
yes, yes.
I was fortunate enough to do 7 operas with him in New Jersey, in Tampa, and a couple of other places. And he taught me how to perform these roles from the conductor's point of view. Um,
Mm, okay.
he was also in the children's chorus of the New York premiere of Turandot with Toscanini on the podium,
Oh
and
wow.
I
Yes, yes,
learned
yes. Because yeah,
Turandot from
100 years
him.
old.
Yeah, I learned Turandot from
Amazing.
Maestro Coppola, and
Amazing.
so that's sort of the lineage and
That's awesome.
the upbringing that I've had
Great.
with these great
Which
people.
role did you have you done in
Uh,
Turandot?
Ping,
Oh, good. Okay, that's
yeah,
right
so
in the
much
very
fun.
early part. Yeah. Awesome. Wow. Yeah, I mean the tradition is one of the things that's so key. And like for me,
Hmm.
when I first got into opera, I would listen to I found like Jerome Hines and
Yes.
Nikolai Gyaurov and Paul Robeson, not really an opera singer, but a wonderful mentor and not mentor, just an incredible figure in history. I mean, just
Yes.
he was a professional NFL player, graduated from the Ivy League school, born
Yeah.
in 1898. So you can't imagine the sort of trials and tribulations he went through. An activist. I mean, the list goes on. And I mean, so many amazing um, people who just
Yes.
were the example and the standard of what an operatic sound should be
Hmm.
and what great singing is. And it's so interesting, just as you learn and grow as an artist, how your ear also kind of matures. And then you start to see them as a little bit more human, right? Than you
Yes.
did before. You're like, oh, he took a breath there. Huh? You know?
Yeah.
Whereas before, you're like, man, I can't believe he's
My
even doing
philosophy is like
that.
the air is free, so take it. Like you don't
Yeah,
win. Oh, I have to
exactly.
mention Dr. Everett McCorvey is a huge mentor of mine. And
Oh, yeah, we had him on the show a few
it's
months ago. Yeah.
he always says you don't get a prize for not taking a breath. So take
Amen.
the breath. The air
Yes,
is
yes.
free. Take it.
All we want to hear as an audience is a beautiful sound. Period.
Yes. Oh my
So
gosh.
if you can make a beautiful sound and take a breath, or make a not so beautiful sound and not take a breath, I think it's always
Yeah.
smart to just do what needs to be done to keep that beauty in the
Yeah.
sound
We're
and that
not all
comfort.
gifted with Montserrat Caballé's lungs to
Right.
never take a breath, you know.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, I think this that 100%, 100% agree. Sorry, my family's blowing me up right now. I'm sorry for all the notifications. I'll get to them in a minute. But yeah, so tell us about some of your career highlights. I mean, I'm reading your resume, and there's some really exciting things coming up for you, and you've already won a Grammy. That's huge. Walk us through some of your career highlights. I'm excited
Wow.
to hear about that.
I would say in the very beginning, it would have been my Carnegie Hall debut.
Hmm.
It is probably my favorite hall to sing in.
Oh yeah.
There's just something so beautiful and majestic and perfect about
Mm.
that hall and the acoustics. And
Mm.
I've been blessed to be able to sing there 5 times now. And the last time I sang, well, the first 4 times I sang there, I had, I was always assigned the same dressing room. But the fifth time I wasn't, and I'm like, uh-oh, is this some sort of, is this going to knock me off my game? Oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
got into the dressing room and there was a
Hmm.
gigantic um, framed letter from Leontine
Hmm.
Price to the Carnegie family. And she
Hmm.
wrote it on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of the hall. And so
Hmm.
I said, oh, I'm going to be fine. She was in this room. I'm going to be fine.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I got off the elevator to go down to the
Mm.
stage, and the elevator doors open, and there was a life-size poster of Ciceretta Jones. And so I felt this sort of
Oh,
hug,
hug, yeah, yeah.
and I went out
Like you're
and
meant to be here.
sang
Yeah,
my ass off that night. It was great.
that's fantastic, man. What were you singing?
um, it was for a Requiem and
Oh,
Vaughan Williams's
beautiful both of them.
Dona Nobis Pacem.
Okay, yeah, that baritone part in Fares Requiem is
Yeah. Oh, beautiful stuff.
incroyable. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would also say my Broadway debut was a huge highlight because it happened
Wait,
when I
I
was.
didn't know you did Broadway as well.
Yeah. Well, I did an opera on Broadway. I did Baz Luhrmann's production
Oh,
of La Boheme, and that was really, really
oh,
fun. It's a whole
interesting.
different
Cool.
discipline than doing opera at an opera company, because trying to get it
Hmm.
up for 8 shows a week, that's a whole
I can
different
only imagine.
world. It's a
Were you
whole
singing
different world.
Chouinard or
I did Chouinard, and I was in the
Marcello?
ensemble, and I did a couple of other, like the way Baz directed the show,
Hmm.
everybody had a part. Like he named
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Oh,
It was
cool.
he
All
directed it
right.
from a film director's point of view. It
Right,
was
right,
great.
right.
It was great.
Cool. I think was Douglas Martin part of that?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I remember I worked with him on an opera. We did Rigoletto. I sang Monterone with him a while back, and I
yeah.
remember just seeing that he was part of that as well. So, small world.
Small world, small
Very small
world.
world.
But nowadays, I mean, I would say I was not. Let me preface it this way. As a little kid, I would
Hmm.
practice my award speeches in the mirror for if ever I would win one, with the
Nice.
broomstick as my microphone, and I was,
Uh-huh.
and
Nice. You were born
winning,
for this, man.
but winning a Grammy
Yeah.
like during a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
for singing the role of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a true highlight. Like it took
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
at least a week or two to come down and realize that it's actually true. Like it's
It's
not some
happened.
sort of weird dream.
Mm-hmm.
So that was awesome. Um, and getting my first Met contract in the mail, and seeing that that
Nice.
was
Okay.
real, and seeing
Yes.
that
Yes.
they
Yes.
signed it and I signed it
Mm-hmm.
too, so it was real.
Yeah.
That
It's
was
done.
pretty exciting. Pretty exciting.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Tell us about that Met contract for those who don't know.
Yeah. So on October 31st, the Grammy Award-winning Metropolitan Opera cast of Porgy and Bess does a remount of 13 performances, and I get to step into the role of Lawyer Frazier, which is so special to me because it's a role that I'm very comfortable with, which
Mm-hmm.
is something that makes me very happy going into the Met with something that I know, that's something
Mm-hmm.
I'm really familiar with.
Mm.
But it's even more special because my dearly departed mentor and idol, the great Arthur Woodley,
Mm-hmm.
did this role when it came around in 2019. And I saw him do
Yes.
it
Yes. Yes. Yes.
three times. I went back to see it three times. And
Beautiful.
when he passed on, of course, it broke my heart. But then when the Met asked me to try to step in his unfillable shoes, it just made the offer that much more amazing.
That's incredible. Congratulations on that. That's huge.
Thank you.
I remember I saw Arthur in the production and as Lawyer Frazier, and I couldn't believe because he was like 70 or
He was
something,
70.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and the
that was
voice
his
was,
Met debut.
I mean, that voice was fresh and clean and easy. It was
Yep.
beautiful. I was really
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
thoroughly
Yeah.
impressed by that. That was really quite incredible. So, I mean, not just a great artist and a great person, a
Oh my
mentor to
gosh.
you, but an
The
incredible
best.
singer. Yeah, yeah. Well, may he rest in peace, and
Yes, indeed.
may his name live on. Um, yeah, this is really really exciting stuff coming up for you. So, tell me some about some other memorable moments you have
Mm.
in your career. Let's see. That's so glad. Oh yeah, you got to interview him on Black Opera
I
Live.
did,
I just
and
missed
thank
that
you,
comment.
Patrick, for bringing that up. It broke my heart because Karen Slack was the one who called me
Mm-hmm.
to tell me that he had passed away because she didn't want me to see it on Facebook or
Mm-hmm.
Instagram or anything like that. And I called my other mentor, Gordon Hawkins, uh, weeping, the total ugly cry, um, just trying to figure out what happened, and didn't even know that he was that ill. And 3 weeks prior to his death, he consented to come on my show.
Wow.
And Gordon said to me that even though he was really ill, he knew that it would be the last time that he would be with all of his colleagues, with Gordon, with Donnie Ray, and with Alvy Powell. And he didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to miss that. And because he really loved
Mm.
you, and he didn't want to miss that. And so he gave me 2 hours, two of the last hours of his
Of
life.
his life.
And that was that's huge. It's huge. It really
Yeah.
it fills my heart, both with happiness and sadness every time I think about it.
Wow. Yeah, it's one of those things you would. I mean, who would have known at that time
Yeah,
that was going to be one of his last sort of public
yeah,
recorded interviews? So it's wonderful that you're part of that legacy, and not just for that purpose, but for the purpose of um, keeping his name alive in the world and
absolutely.
the tradition and the contributions he's made as an artist.
Hmm.
So yeah, I have to go back and check that interview out because yeah, I really
Yeah,
was
it
thoroughly
was a
impressed by that.
special interview for me too because in regards to Porgy and Bess, I've been very blessed to be able to sing that opera all over the world and to sing the title role now 105 times. And it was a
Wow.
benchmark that I never aimed for. It just sort of happened. But those
Mm-hmm.
men, all of those men on that panel,
Mm-hmm.
I looked to them when they were doing Porgy, because
Mm-hmm.
that's when I first met them over 20 some years
Mm.
ago. And I
Right.
saw them do it. And when
Mm-hmm.
I got my first offer to do it, I called each of them and they all gave me incredible advice, and have always been in my corner and so supportive ever since. And so to get all of them together at the same time to celebrate them was amazing. But then to know that author was just a few weeks away from leaving us was incredible. That he consented to do it.
That's great. Well, I think it's you are carrying the mantle now. So
It's a heavy mantle, let me tell you.
I think you can handle it. I think you got it. So you said you've sung Porgy all over the world, it sounds like. So where are some of the interesting places you've done that?
Oh, probably one of my favorite places was at the Palacio Bellas Artes in Mexico City.
Okay.
It's a beautiful theater, and the Mexican citizens love opera. Like,
Cool.
they treated us like rock stars. They were at the stage door and giving us flowers and yelling
Really?
and coming. It's like
Asking
it
for
was
autographs.
autographs and pictures. It was
Yeah.
crazy, but they were amazing. And that was the same theater that the famous pirated recording of Maria Callas singing high E flat in Aida and the Triumph.
Aida, yeah.
It happened in that theater. And I asked the intendant, I said, please take me to the spot where she did that. And he took me out on the stage and we had a moment. He says, well, I have something else to tell you. We're putting you in the same dressing room that she had and that Plazo Domingo had. And I was just blown away, and had incredible experience there. And also at the Royal Danish Opera in Copenhagen was a very special experience. It was a brand new production. I sang 16 performances of it there. Under the direction of Tony Award winner John Doyle. That was incredible. Being in Denmark for 3 months and experiencing those amazing people and that culture and being there, that was awesome. And then to be the first person to do the role in the opera house at l'Opéra de Montréal. They had never done Porgy and Bess before, and due to the releasing of an artist, they called me to jump in and do the whole sold out run, which was crazy. So so I would say those three stand out at the moment.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's so that's Mexico, Canada, and Denmark. That's very different countries.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I'm getting to do it again. A full concert version of it with the great maestro Wayne Marshall, who I absolutely adore, in Switzerland next year. So I'm excited about that.
Beautiful.
To be with him again, and so it's coming around.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot coming up for you.
Yeah.
And so you had mentioned I've shared Kenny's website. But Kenny has an announcement about that, so I'll let him tell you what it's
Yes, my brand new website is coming out on July the 1st. And I'll post all about it. I have to say that for the entire month of June, I took a social media hiatus. I hired someone to do posts on Instagram for me, but I decided not to post or comment or share anything on my Facebook. I just needed to unplug from social media for a while. So I took the whole month of June to do that. But while I was away from social media, I was able to get so many things done. And so I hired a creative team, a photographer and creative director from Philadelphia, and did a whole brand new photo shoot. And then I hired a new web designer in Jasmine Muhammad to do my brand new website, and hired a stylist in my baritone singing brother, Norman Garrett, to do this whole big thing for me. And so we're going to put it out on July the 1st. So you'll be able to see where I'm going and what I've been up to and what's coming up.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think we've all seen little snippets of some of the things you're doing.
Posting on social media is like a job unto itself. And so I was you know what? Let me hire somebody that does that and takes that pressure off of me right now, and I can focus and do other things.
Awesome. Very smart. If you have the resources to do that,
get
a professional to do it. Just like that picture where it's like the client's budget is like it's like a beautiful horse. This is what I want, and then your budget is
but that's the show business part. The business part.
Amen. So yeah. Oh, Patrick giving a double
Yes,
click into Wayne Marshall.
Wayne Marshall he's the man is a genius. The man
Yeah.
is a genius. I was able to sing under him at his orchestra in Cologne,
Mm-hmm.
Germany, and then we did it in Dortmund, Germany. But
Mm-hmm.
I met Wayne at the Bregenz Festival in Austria in 1998. He was
Wow.
the one of the
23
two
years.
conductors of a 27 performance run of Porgy and Bess. It was my
Mm-hmm.
first time in Europe. It was my first time being around that many Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was all triple cast, and there was a
Mm-hmm.
chorus of like 60, and then there was an entire dance ensemble, and then there was an entire African
Mm-hmm.
drum ensemble, and it was with the Vienna Philharmonic. It was
Wow.
absolutely crazy. Um, and I met Wayne there, and we've been good buddies ever since. And he was the one who told Montreal to get on the phone and call me to come and replace and jump in and
Mm.
sing it. So
Nice,
we've
nice.
been very tight. I adore that man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Congrats.
Patrick,
Wow.
the looks. And I got some more coming for you, baby. Get ready, July 1st.
I got the link for the website there, the guys. So definitely check it out. That's
Yeah.
Wednesday. No, that's Thursday. So Thursday,
Yeah.
keep your eye out. I'm sure it's going to be announced on socials and everywhere
Yeah. I'll be back
for
on
this
social
update.
media on Thursday.
Cool. Well, I think it's good for mental health actually to just take some time off
Oh,
from
yes.
social media and just like
Oh,
get into the
yes.
real world, talking to people on the phone and all that good stuff.
Hmm.
So, yeah, good to see you moving higher.
Oh, thank you, Gary.
That's from
I
Gary. Yeah,
appreciate it.
nice. All right. Give me 1 second here. So one of the things that I really find really interesting is what you created in Black Opera. This is
Mm.
pre-pandemic. You're looking to interview some of the greatest Black Opera singers that are alive today, and you had the chance to, I think, interview Jesse Norman and put some of the content for that together. We're
Whew.
all very excited to see what you're doing there. So tell us about that. I think that's an
Yeah.
important part of your legacy.
So about 2 years ago, my now dear friends, Miranda Plant and Jonathan Estabrooks,
Mm-hmm.
they started a production company called Black Opera Productions
Mm.
LLC, and they were looking for someone to come on as
Like a
like
host?
no, not to come on for the onto the film team
Mm-hmm.
as like to sort of like fact check and do like
Mm.
research and make sure they were getting the story right. And so
Cool.
we had a couple of meetings, and then afterwards they were
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what, you need to come on as an associate producer,
Cool.
um,
Wow.
because you have relationships with some of these people that we want to interview. And so yeah, and so I joined the team, and then
Mm-hmm.
we were doing this big fundraising campaign, and then doing interviews, and um, then the pandemic hit. And it was like, oh
Yeah.
crap, what are we going to do now? You know,
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
dying and losing their jobs and their homes and their livelihoods. You can't go around saying, give me money for a movie. So
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, what can I do during a pandemic that's not going to cost a lot of money, but that will keep the energy of the film going and in people's
Mm-hmm.
minds?
Cool.
And that was to create Black Opera Live, the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I was only supposed to do that for June and July of last year on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. And then people were like, you can't stop. You have to continue. You have to keep going. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I did it for every week for an entire year. Sometimes there were more than
Mm.
one show during a week. And it was just absolutely beautiful and fulfilling and crazy and entertaining and educational and eye-opening, and it's opened so many doors for me in so many other ways, and it's given me access to artists that I have loved and admired for so long but have never met, and now
Mm.
we're in touch rather
Yeah.
frequently.
First
You
name
know, I've
basis.
just spoken to Leona Mitchell just the other day, and I speak to Denise Graves at least once a week because we're working on other
Mm-hmm.
things, and to speak to Marvis Martin and text with her every other day. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just been really incredible. And one of the main reasons is that I wanted to have this legacy sort of down in print. Nobody can take it away. showing every yeah. Thank you.
And
Um,
thank you, Paul, as well. Yeah,
yes,
it's
yes,
been a big hit, man. And I know it's
huge.
not
And
easy
so
to keep something consistent like that going. So
I
congratulations.
had
That's
no
huge.
idea I was going to do it for a whole year. And so I
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? I'm going to take the summer off from the
Mm-hmm.
show because it takes a lot. You have to contact the artist and you have to work with their schedule. They have to say
Mm-hmm.
yes, that
Yeah.
they want to be interviewed, and then to gather the information and to make sure that you're getting the right information and treat them with
Mm-hmm.
dignity and respect and in full celebration. It takes a lot. Like when I'm doing the show, I'm so energized and excited. And then when it's over, I'm like, oh, Lord, that was a lot. That was
Yeah,
a
it's like
lot.
coming off stage in a way, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that. But yeah, this is a really exciting project, and so you had started, and there was a little bit of a introductory sort of production that you did earlier in the pandemic. I can't remember exactly the
Oh, for
date. That was
Jesse
like,
Norman.
yes, for Jesse Norman, exactly.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so it was to celebrate her 75th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend, composer and baritone, Mr. Courtney Carey, he sent
Mm-hmm.
me a DM in like early July of
Mm-hmm.
last year. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, hey, just wanted to remind you that this September 15th would have been Jesse Norman's 75th birthday. You should do something. And that's all he said in the DM. And I'm like,
Wow.
what? What am I
Yeah.
gonna do? Like
Mm-hmm.
theaters are closed, everything's closed. We're all
Mm-hmm.
in a quarantine. What can I
Mm-hmm.
do? And so I stayed up to like 4 o'clock in the morning, literally writing things down. I'm a very tangible person. I like to write,
Mm.
put pen to
Okay.
paper,
Mm-hmm.
and then would ball up stupid idea and throw it away, and then write
Mm-hmm.
again, ball it up and throw it again. And then I came up on something, and then the very next day, I had a meeting with the Black Opera film team about other stuff for the movie. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the meeting, I said, hey, you guys, listen, I have this idea. Let's do a virtual concert to honor Miss Norman.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, it's going to be a lot of work, but let's go for it. And
Crazy.
so from like the last week of July to September 15th, we were
Mm-hmm.
knee deep in trying to make a beautiful concert to honor
Mm-hmm.
this incredible woman
Yeah.
in a global pandemic. So it's,
That was right in the thick of it too. I mean,
yeah, right
yeah.
in the thick of it. And so we
Mm-hmm.
were able to get a performance space for some of our singers that were here in New York, and all the
Mm-hmm.
COVID guidelines, and then remastering and putting it together, and then talking
Mm-hmm.
with her family and getting permissions from um, uh, where her recordings were, and talking to the people at the Ford Foundation, and talking to celebrities that wanted to contribute video
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
congratulations and salutations
Wow.
for her. It was quite the task, but it was
Mm-hmm.
so worth it. And it's the
Oh,
gift that keeps
absolutely.
giving. Like people are still talking about this concert, and
It was
one of the
beautifully
social
done.
media blogs gave us
Yeah.
an award for the best opera gala of the year. It was just like it was
Yeah.
crazy, crazy.
Absolutely. You got Lisa singing
Thank
your
you,
praises.
Lisa.
It
Thank
was
you.
beautiful. It really was. I mean, the production value, the quality, the flow of everything. And it's funny because when you're putting something together, when it goes right, it's really something special. And people, I think, until you've produced something of your own, it's
Woof.
hard to appreciate how much work goes into like the back production office, right? And what you have to do to
I
make that
could
run so smoothly.
I couldn't even absorb it all until like 2 or 3 days later. Like I
Yeah.
watched it as it was happening, but I was glazed over. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
because I didn't go to school for film production or video production or journalism or broadcast. I didn't go. That wasn't
Hmm.
my thing. I went
Oh
to
yeah.
school for people to teach me how to
It's a
sing beautifully.
totally different hat. It's a totally different skill set, and it's
Yes.
something that people it's hard to really like uh, express and like communicate. But
Yeah.
those who know,
No. And so I
and
tell
yeah.
artists
So.
all the time, learn another skill, even
Hmm.
especially if that skill sort of enhances your main skill. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
learn it, do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many things that, as you know, we said earlier in the broadcast, beautiful singing is of course the fundamental, but you're also a business person, You have to
Hmm.
understand marketing and branding. You have to understand how to make partnerships, how to operate and build relationships with people who are in the industry in general.
Yeah. And you have
Who are
to
the
have a
important people?
team. You have to
Yeah,
have I tell young
absolutely. That
singers all the
believes in you
time,
and supports
a
you.
team
Amen.
that believes in you, that is
Yeah.
there for you with no ulterior motives, a team that wants you there for your best interest. A team that is, I don't need my team to say, oh my God, you're so amazing, you're so wonderful. That is my
Mm.
mother's job, my grandmother's job, my daddy's job.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yes,
Yeah.
it's nice being on this side, Shirley. But yeah, I want my team, which includes my voice teacher, which includes
Hmm.
my coaches, because I have more than one, depending on what it is
Hmm.
that I'm working on. That's who I
Cool.
call to help me. It's also my agents.
Hmm.
But the leader of the team is God. You know, I
Yeah.
listen to God first, and then we talk to the rest of the team. You know, but
Smart.
the team is essential. It's essential. Like, I don't pay my voice teacher to tell me I'm great. I pay him to fix what's not great and to
Hmm.
enhance what already is.
Amen. Yeah. You see, you
You're
have
right,
to.
Patrick. It's so,
Yeah.
it's so lacking. It's almost non-existent. I
Hmm.
asked some young people a few weeks ago about contract law, basic contract law, and
Hmm.
not they couldn't really
Yeah.
speak about it. And so we've got to put these things into our curriculums, in
Hmm.
addition to, Italian diction and opera history, how to survive
Agreed.
as an artist.
Yeah. I mean, that's so. One of the things I've realized is that we need a lot more innovation in opera. I think that can
Mm,
be if the universities or the conservatories can't do it, don't want to do it, whatever their answer is there, whatever the reason is, we need services, we need entrepreneurs, we need creative people. And shout out to Raymond Geis, who created Resonance, which is a great platform that's going to
mhm.
help empower artists. So artists need to support each other. We need to work together. We need to flex those creative muscles in different
Yes.
ways so that we can start solving some of the problems and addressing some of the imbalances in our business. And
Yep.
it's really exciting, seeing people doing new things and taking new approaches to this really old art form, really, to keep it alive and
Keep
keep
it
it
alive.
relevant. Yeah. So yeah, as Patrick says, yeah, the business acumen is something that's not taught. So I think there's a great opportunity for an organization of some kind, or maybe an existing organization, to take the initiative and create a program that
Yep.
they can use and have it be online and just be the central place where artists can go and say, okay, I've graduated now. This is what I want to do. How do I even get started?
Yep.
Right? Is there even a, there's nothing like that today, right? So
Yep.
someone creates that.
And
That's huge.
you would think that our musicians union
Hmm.
would, and I'm going to talk to them about this because I have their ear, to send representatives from the musicians union into our schools before we turn our students out into the wild streets of real life, and
Hmm.
partner with these young people, partner with
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
schools, and initiate these programs, whether it's, once a semester or twice a semester, whatever it is. Have a
Hmm.
representative from the union go in and talk about the other side of the
Yeah.
industry. Talk about
Amen.
how you
Yeah.
break down and understand Chapter 4, Article 5B in your contract, and what that really means. Because
Hmm.
most singers, they
Yeah.
immediately go and they look at what the show is, what the role is, when the dates are, and how much they're getting
They're
paid.
getting paid. It's
That's it. There's
very
so much
surface level.
more in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
And it's the in
Amen.
between that can get you in trouble if you don't understand it.
I totally agree. Yeah, it sounds like Patrick agrees, and also Raymond agrees. He's tuning in
Hey
for this
there.
conversation. Let's see. We have a question. It's a little
Hmm.
bit a deviation from where we're having a discussion, but let's bring it in.
Sure.
So you've had to learn so many different rules, right?
Yes.
What's your approach to diction, and like what languages are have you sung in so far?
I've sung in English, German, French, Italian, Latin, Spanish, Hebrew, and I'm starting Russian.
That's 8 languages.
Yeah.
Solid. Very
Starting
solid.
Russian. Russian is a language that I'm so fascinated by. And as
Hmm.
soon as I can get it into my ear and into my spirit, I love Russian music so much, I'm going to be unstoppable.
Oh, Russian. I mean, the repertoire is just so incredible and so
Yeah.
unexplored. I mean, there's so
Oh,
many operas that, just because it's all in Cyrillic, it becomes a little bit inaccessible. And obviously, that very much relates to our mission at Diction Buddy, which is just to make the songs and the music of the world accessible to everyone.
yeah.
So, we're going to give you a subscription. We got to give you access to our database so that you can start learning the Russian repertoire
Yay.
and really get. And then if you need a coach, I think I know somebody who might
Listen,
be
I'll
able
be
to hook
there.
it up.
I'll
So
be right
yeah,
there.
so yeah,
Rachmaninoff is calling me. I love his song literature so much, and
yeah,
Rimsky-Korsakov and Tchaikovsky, of course. And I can't wait to just dig into
yeah.
that. Oh,
Amen. Yeah.
yes, Vita. I love that. Listen, I still mourn over the loss of Hodorowski. I just loved his sound, the color of the voice. He
Mm.
too, like Caballé, has like three different lungs, and he never takes a breath. Like his musicianship, and I was able to see him a couple of times at the Met and also in recital at Carnegie Hall. Just an incredible artist. And so Russian music is I
Yeah,
gotta
there's
get
a
into it.
lot. There's a
I
lot
gotta
there,
do it.
especially for lower voices, which is great. Like Puccini did a lot for baritones, but for basses, he was just like, meh.
Yeah, not
He
so
did.
nice.
He's like, yeah, not so much. So I mean, a couple of cool roles. You have like Timur, you have Colline,
Yeah.
but if you were a baritone, Puccini has a lot more for you. But yeah, so for Russian, we'll definitely hook that up.
But
Um,
the front part of her question, I always take my roles apart, break them down, IPA, then
mhm,
literal translation with my Nico
mhm,
Castells and
yep.
or my dictionary,
Yep.
and then I go see a coach. And then
Cool.
we usually speak through it and then speak through it in rhythm. And this is all before I put my voice onto it.
Hmm.
And then I do, character study. If there's a novel that the work is based on, I'm reading it. If there's a movie, if there's a play, I'm watching it. I'm reading it and all of that. And then we go into
Hmm.
my teacher who pours all the notes into my throat, and then voila.
Nice. That's quite a recipe, but it is starting on the
Mhm.
basic level, right?
Yeah.
Get to know the text, get to know the character, then start to sort of process the whole
Yes.
music aspect of it. And that gives you so much more like authenticity
Yes.
in your characterization. And that's one thing, I mean, growing as a young singer, I definitely didn't do a lot of that. I was just so excited to sing. I would
Yeah.
just start plunking out the notes, and it's like, well, what is he saying? And it's like, but it sounds, I just want
I
to
mean,
sing,
I do check. I go through the score and check and make sure the range is fine and
Hmm.
that
Oh, sure.
it's
Yeah.
possible and where it lies and
Hmm.
sits. I do look at that before I say yes or no.
Sure, sure, sure. Good. Yeah, I think that's good practice. Can I even
Yeah.
sing this role? That's gotta be a
Yeah.
good place to start. So awesome. Um, give me one
Thank you,
second. I just want
Patrick.
to
I'm
check.
getting there, and getting in the right space is so important. I have a life coach as well, and that has helped in so many incredible
Mm.
ways, just in keeping me accountable for myself and my work and
Hmm.
keeping my spirit right and staying encouraged and focused. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. We have another question. Solid preparation. When can I see your Grammy?
Oh, I'll get it for you.
All
It's
right,
it's
cool.
rather heavy and big because I got it framed.
Sounds good.
Oh, here she is.
There we go. Let me put that. Boom. Beautiful. Nice, man. Get a screen capture of that.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I'm saying telling the audience.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I haven't even put it on the wall yet because I'm trying to figure out where's the best place for it.
I'm sure you'll find a beautiful, maybe right above the mantle if you have a
Yeah.
fireplace, right?
No fireplace, but I'm going between two or three different places right now. It's like, do I want to see it immediately every day when I walk into the house,
Hmm.
or when I walk from my bedroom into the living room, or over my keyboard? I don't know. We'll see.
Mm. Well, there's no bad place to hang one of those.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see if there's. Oh, we have another comment from
Oh, wait, I don't see you
Gary.
anymore. Where'd you go?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, see, there we
There you are.
go. Nice. Yeah. So is that Gary? I think you said.
Yeah, his name is Gary. Thank you so
Gary.
much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, Kenny. We want to play a little bit of your singing. I actually didn't get to that earlier.
Ah,
So
okay.
tell us about what we're going to hear. I think it's The Invitation to Love.
Oh, the invitation to love.
Yeah.
It's the second song of a four-song set called The
Mm-hmm.
Four Romantic Songs by Adolphus Hailstork, with
Mm.
text by Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Mm-hmm.
And I have developed a beautiful relationship, friendship with Maestro Hailstork. I did the world premiere of his latest chamber work for baritone and strings called
Mm-hmm.
Nobody Know. And
Mm.
it was written in acknowledgement of the 400th anniversary of the first enslaved Africans here in
Mm.
America. And I performed that with the Harlem Chamber Players at the
Mm-hmm.
Schomburg Museum. And he was
Beautiful.
there, and
Mm-hmm.
the librettist Herbert Martin was there. And afterwards he said,
Wow.
um, I just love you. And if there's anything you want set to music, you send me some text and let me know. And so I'm going to premiere his latest oratorio called A Knee
Mm-hmm.
on the Neck with the
Mm.
National Symphony
Wow.
Orchestra in March, with my
Okay.
good sister, Janae Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
But it caused me to dig through his song literature. And
Mm-hmm.
I found these songs, the four romantic songs, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just stunning. And so I recorded
Beautiful.
this on the occasion of the Fort Worth Opera Gala, a night of Black
Mm.
excellence, that my dear sister friend Afton Battle invited me to sing on with the incredible Mary Pinto at the piano.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, without further ado, let's listen to Kenny sing some beautiful music for us.
Come when the nights are bright with stars, or when the moon is mellow. Come when the sun his golden bars drops on the hayfield yellow. Come in the twilight soft and gray. Come in the night, or come in the day. Come, O love, whene'er you may, and you are welcome. You are welcome. You are sweet, O love. You are soft as the nesting dove. Come to my heart and bring it rest, as the bird flies home to its welcome nest. Come when my heart is full of grief, when my heart is merry. Come with the falling of the leaf, or with the reddening cherry. Come when the year's first blossom blows. Come when the summer gleams and glows. Come with the winter's drifting snows. And you are welcome. You are welcome. 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 And you are welcome.
Bravo. That was gorgeous, man.
Thank
Gorgeous.
you. I love art song and recital literature. And, I tell my agents all the time, I said, I want a career similar to Leontine Price's, where you have some opera and some orchestral soloist appearances and some solo recital appearances. Like, it makes me so excited to have all three. Like, if I just had one, I'd be bored to tears.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Really, really beautiful stuff.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, you've done a lot of opera, a lot of concerts. You've recorded quite a bit as well. So I mean, really quite a variety. So just a couple of comments I want to share.
Thank you,
There we
Lisa.
go. And from Gary
Thank
and
you.
from
It's
Gita.
Paul Lawrence Dunbar's text is just outrageously beautiful. It's like, oh,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
And
And
this
so
is
much more
Emma.
coming. Like, it's just wait till July 1st, you'll see. Like, and then if you don't see me in person, you'll know I'm either in a voice lesson, a coaching, a rehearsal, or on stage or in bed. It's quite
Good,
a year
good.
coming up, quite a year. I'm glad that companies are feeling confident to issue contracts and make season announcements. It's a wonderful thing because we've been through a lot these last 15, 16 months. And, um,
Amen.
I was able to do a live performance just on Friday night. And the audience, I think, misses it just as much, if not more than we do. So it's
I think so. I would
yeah,
agree 100%. I think it's we're gonna see a boom, at least for the next several months to
yeah,
year, where people feel the need, and I think they've been reminded how vital being able to connect with people in person is
yeah.
to your happiness, your sense of normalcy, your sense of just living a full life, and taking away travel, taking away like live performances and people's ability to just meet. It's really been a severe. I want to put one more comment up here for you.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, Shirley. And Paulette, the version that I just sang was a transposition that Maestro Hailstork did for me. So it's actually written for a higher voice, so you can get them.
Sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
Where can she find these? Just
You can either go to his website or um, you can check out uh, African American Diaspora Music Project, which is a website that Louise Toppin has put together, and it has every Black composer and poet and whatever, and all of their works, and where you can get them and who publishes them. So make sure you check that site out.
Awesome. African American diaspora.
Yes, and if
Okay.
that's not it, I will find it and text it to you.
Okay, yeah, if you do, I'll put it on in the comments underneath
Yeah.
this post, and Paul, I'll send that to you directly once I have it. If you're not able to find it, but I'll just make sure so that everyone has it, and the more of this music can be made accessible to everyone. I think that that
Yeah.
would be beautiful. So, one thing we had discussed months ago, I know we're definitely behind on this, is creating a section within DictionBuddy under the English songs for
Hmm.
spirituals and the proper way of sort of manifesting that, right? And respecting the
Yeah.
tradition and having it come from people, of, Ever McCorvey, you and others who are authorities in this space to do so. So we got to get that kicked off soon. So we'll be in touch shortly. It's just been
Yeah.
a
Spirituals
very
are my
busy few
jam,
months.
man.
Yeah, right. It's a whole nother category. And actually, the
Oh
first
yeah.
time we worked together, and maybe even the first time you heard me, was when I auditioned for the American Spiritual Ensemble back in 2018?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's crazy, right? Yeah, and we went on tour. It was about a month I was on the tour. A
Hmm.
lot of fun. It was like my first ever like tour like that. And
Nice.
we got to sing so much beautiful repertoire, and the audiences just went wild. It
Wild.
was really incredible. Yeah, yeah. And I just, saw you do your thing, just commanding the stage. You've been doing that a while, actually, right?
Yeah, I've been a part of American Spiritual Ensemble for 15 or 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 15 if you don't count the pandemic. But yeah,
Okay.
and Dr. McCorvey is like one of my heroes. Like
Oh yeah.
he he's beloved by everybody, and he has like 15 jobs and does them all so beautifully. And but yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
spiritual ensemble is like my family. So whenever my
Cool.
schedule permits, I like to go out with them because it singing spirituals, it fills my soul in a way that no other music does. And I
Mm-hmm.
when I leave sort of like the traditional classical music or operatic time in my schedule and I go to sing spirituals, I get rejuvenated and
Mm-hmm.
filled back up to then I can go back out into my classical life and take that energy with me. So
Mm-hmm.
they are ASC is a very important part of my life.
Cool, cool. Yeah, and excited to see what I know. It's actually so tragic that the pandemic happened in 2020, because I know he was planning on doing something for the 25th anniversary. So
Yeah.
hopefully, this year or maybe next year might be smarter, just given the timelines, to
Yeah.
put something together. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing that happen. Let's see if there are any more
Totally.
comments. I think Yeah, I think we've caught up on all the comments, and yeah, I think this is a good place to wrap it up. So, Kenny, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your success. I'm so happy to see that you're carrying on a great tradition in not just the classical repertoire, but in the history of black singers in opera, and making that more well known. I think it's important for more people to recognize that there have been many great black opera singers, that you haven't even heard of yet, but have
Yeah.
had great careers, and did it at times when things were way more tense than they are now. So it's just such an inspiration to see that um, you're overcoming all challenges, you're chasing excellence, and you're creating a great tradition and legacy for yourself. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna You're very welcome, and we're gonna keep up with what you're doing, and we'll get kicked off with our project soon, and we'll make that happen. So
Absolutely.
really excited to work with you. And anyone wants to follow Kenny, look on his website. July 1st, there's going to be a major update there, so keep your eye out. If you want to contact him, his email right down below is divoclo at aol.com. Devo KLO, which is his initials. And then if you want to find Kenny on socials, he's on Facebook, he's on Instagram. And so, yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful Sunday. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Take care.